and welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on MTV that has a reservation for two for the Karma Cafe. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge Season 38, Episode 21, The Reunion Part 2. This is it. This is the final episode of the season. It is finally over. We've been watching this season for almost 5 months, and we are wrapping it up with this reunion part 2. And I'll start off by saying that this reunion part 2 had a little bit more spice, a little bit more meat to it than, say, the previous part. Really, the first 8 to 10 minutes of this reunion and the last 8 to 10 minutes of this reunion were the best parts. But we'll get into all of that. Let's start off how last episode left off, and that was Maria Menounos calling out Turbo to join everybody on stage to hear his side of the story. However, she hits everybody with a just kidding, but then cuts to a video that Turbo made behind the scenes at an event that he was at. And let me tell you right now, this Turbo video was one of the most entertaining parts of this reunion. My goodness, Turbo went in on everybody. The way this video was filmed and edited together, I just thought that this was so well done. And he covered a lot of ground, calling out Devin, Tori, Nelson, Bananas, Nani, Fessel. And then he tells everybody that revenge is coming soon, and he wants to take out the trash, which he names specifically Bananas, Jordan, and Devin. I thought that that was really, really fun. Some people will call it corny. Some people will call it a little cheesy. I totally understand that, but at least Turbo was serving in that video, because I actually do believe, even though that video does seem rehearsed, it does feel like he truly believes that, and I would like to see Turbo back. Then we go from Turbo's video into Mariah calling out Fessel and Anissa. This was impeccable. Mariah at this point just goes in on Fessel on how bad of a partner he was, how he left her out to dry, especially when they broke into teams, and then she turns her attention over to Anissa, talking about how Anissa wasn't very nice to her. Now, Anissa does come back at Mariah, being like, I've been doing this a long time, and I'm nice to everybody. That's interesting, because taking a look back into even just the more recent seasons of the challenge, you've had problems with Mariah now. You've also had problems with Amber. You've had problems with Amber M and Gabby, Big T. That's only a handful of people from just 2 seasons that I can think of, because you weren't even there for that long in Challenge 37. So it's just interesting how you say that you're nice to everybody, but yet it also seems like you contradict yourself, saying that you've been doing this such a long time, yet at the end of the day, you only have one true friend that you can count on to have your back 100%. Makes me feel like a nicer person would have a lot more friends in the game than, say, just one that Anissa claims to have. Also, in this moment, Fessel tries to deny, saying, not my partner, not my problem, passing it off as a joke. He says, oh, I probably said it in a joke. And that's when Nerys calls him out, says, you said it to me, I went directly to Mariah and told her what you said. I know Nerys is messy too, but somehow with Fessel's reputation in the game and the way he treats his partners in the past, I have a feeling that he did say that, and his delivery probably didn't come off as a very joking tone either. We go from starting off the reunion part 2 with those 2 great segments back to back to then talking about Tori and Jordan and reliving all the drama that we have encountered with them on the season. We see an extended highlight reel of every single argument when Jordan came into the house, everything, to then having a conversation between Tori, Jordan, Anissa, and Nerys, all giving their opinions about being involved in this whole debacle. In summary, it was very difficult of a situation having to live with their exes in the house together and having to navigate not only the game but their emotions, but they feel happy and blessed to be in a place where they can be in the same room with each other, say they love each other, not romantically it feels like at this point, but they can still be friends and say I love you and be around each other cordially. From there, we go to a commercial break and come back, and Maria Menounos is queuing up a highlight reel of all the flings that have happened on the challenge season. We talk about Fessel, we talk about Horacio and Laurel. We talk about, and we get to the more interesting part of this segment, which is Nelson and Olivia. They had a very strong connection within the game. However, it seems like that has all come crashing down once everybody had left the house. Olivia talks about how when Nelson was eliminated, she had about 3 more weeks in the game. And so during those 3 weeks, she actually found herself kind of coming into her own, growing to be a little bit more independent, because she talked about how she wasn't that independent. She always felt like she was dependent on a relationship or someone, and maybe with that time away from having that distraction in Nelson, she was feeling better about herself. She said she got close to Aneesa and Tori. But in that moment, she was thinking, I like this feeling. I like feeling dependent on myself. And so when she sustained her injury in the final, and then she went home to recover, she said that she still wanted some time alone. So she kind of kept Nelson at an arm's length away, and Nelson feels like he was completely forgotten about. This is very interesting because Nelson kind of almost caps this off being like, I thought we could at least stay friends at the end of the day. And Olivia's like, hold on a minute. I wanted to be friends. You blocked me everywhere. Nelson feels hurt by how everything went down. He seemed to really have grown attached to Olivia and really fell for Olivia, but it's just not gonna happen. We go to a commercial break to then get into a whole segment on the Fessel and Nelson relationship and how loyal Nelson is. Almost too loyal to a fault, and he gets his own segment talking about how he forgives. He wants to be the kind of guy that doesn't go for revenge because it just keeps on going around and around in a circle. He wants to be the person to forgive rather than to get revenge. And this is where everybody on stage is calling Nelson an honorary champ, because even though he hasn't won, he's a champ in spirit. And to me, that sounds like, hey, Nelson, thanks for being a good guy, but you're never gonna win that way. Jordan even says that basically. He's like, look, I've talked to Nelson. We agreed it's probably not the smartest way to play the game, but he's an upstanding guy. And he's a nice guy, you know? Speaking of Jordan, this is when we hear a fan question asking whether Jordan and Laurel had recently hooked up. Jordan asks, how recent are we talking about? Maria says in the past year, and we find out that Laurel and Jordan have not hooked up in the past year. Then we get into a really good question, which is pointed to Chauncey, asking, why did he call a lot of the women on the Challenge 38 fake? And Chauncey mentions that his critique of the women and how real or fake they are was all based on how they treated Amber. That to her face, they would be friendly to her and be saying all these nice things, wanting to be her friend, but then when she turns her back or on social media, they would say all these bad things, and even in the confessionals. And I love Chauncey for saying I was directing my comments towards Aneesa and Nerese. And when he said Aneesa's name, I couldn't help but think of all the confessionals that Aneesa was saying about Amber during the season, and talking about, oh, this is the Oscar speech, oh, the Oscar goes to Amber. Let's go back to the first 8 minutes of this reunion part 2 when Aneesa said that she is nice to everybody. Isn't that right, Mariah? Didn't she say that? Ooh. Really contradicting yourself when you have Chauncey, a rookie, coming out saying, you're not very nice, Aneesa. We move from that conversation into a serious conversation where Maria commends Tori for speaking about her mental health journey so candidly during the season, that it was very brave of her for talking about it, and Tori said that it came kind of natural to her. So I really appreciate Tori for sharing with us, the audience, about her journey, because I think it is important to let everybody know that, hey, I've had to work on myself. I had to go through this. I am not perfect, which we all know that none of these people on this stage are perfect. But I also think that it adds a sense of reality to this reality TV where we do watch these seasons and we go, we feel this is fake. People are being fake. This feels scripted at certain points. This is all about the competition, where this was built off the backs of the real world, which was just people living in a house together and sharing their perspectives and going through real life situations and events. This is when Maria Menounos turns the attention over to Amber, who then shares something very personal with all of us, saying that after the Challenge 38, she went to see some doctors and she was diagnosed as being autistic. And that throughout her life, she said in her whole life, she had struggled with her identity, that something felt misaligned with her, that she didn't understand the way she was, and that she struggled with this for all her life. And then after the Challenge 38, she just needed some help. She finally feels like a window has been opened for her to finally see her true self, that she can now understand herself on a deeper level and accept who she is and love herself. And I just feel like there's this happiness to her knowing exactly who she is. Now, Amber gets very emotional during this. She said at the beginning of this segment that she had not talked about this to anybody, only to her family and Chauncey. So the first time for her to be sharing all of this to not only her castmates, but to a televised reality TV show where there's going to be a ton of people watching this is really, really brave of her. And I just thought that this was a very moving segment of the show. And I'm just so happy for Amber. I'm so happy for her and Chauncey. And I wish them all the best in their future, in their lives, especially becoming new parents very, very soon. I just love them so much. I love that we're going to be able to see Amber in the World Championships. I don't know how long she will be on that show, but I'm so happy that we will be able to get to see her compete on the World Championship before possibly not seeing her for quite a long time on the challenge at least. I just know that with the new baby, she's going to want to be the best mom ever. She's going to be the best mom ever, and Chauncey and her are going to be the best parents ever. I'm so glad that we have gotten to see Amber compete, get to know her as a person, and get to know the true Amber while watching the show and getting to take this journey along with her. And so definitely rooting for Amber in the World Championships. I'm an Amber stan, a Stamber. We do get a commercial break before coming back to the final segment, which was all about Nelson and Olivia doing the horizontal monster mash on Fessel's sweater, one of Fessel's sweater or fur coats. And then we get a special dance number from Chauncey, Magic Chauncey, getting in the groove, kind of showing off those dance moves on Amber, and that's how the season ends. And you know what? I couldn't think of a better ending than getting a nice little show from Magic Chauncey. Magic Mike had his last dance. Well, Magic Chauncey is just getting in the groove, you know what I mean? Anyways, that's how this reunion part 2 ends. That's how this season ends. The Challenge 38 has finally wrapped up. What did you think about this reunion? Let me know down in the comment section below. What did you think about this season overall? What did you think about all the different segments? Again, tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a comment palooza, taking a good amount of comments from this review and recaps comment section and picking a good amount of them to read, highlight, and comment and answer on tomorrow's Tiny Table Talk. So please, leave me any and all comments down in the comment section below. I want to hear what you have to say about this reunion, the reunion in general, and the whole season. What does it mean to you that this season is over and then you have another season starting up right away in the World Championships starting next week? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. I want to give a special shout out, thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everyone who is watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really, really soon with more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.